This is the Crowdcrux Crowdfunding Podcast with Sal Briggman, where we cover everything you need to know to launch a successful crowdfunding campaign. We speak with proven entrepreneurs who've raised money from the crowd and want to teach you how to do the same. Stay tuned because we're about to reveal how to launch your dream project. With your host, Sal Briggman.
Before we get started with this podcast episode, I want to take a second to introduce you to my friends at Fulfillrite. If you need help shipping out your Kickstarter or Indiegogo perks or rewards, Fulfillrite is the absolute best company for you. I've been working with them for a while and I can vouch for their services. They make it dead simple and take all of the headache out of shipping out all of those boxes, all of those orders to your backers and your customers. If you want to check them out, go to fulfillrite.com at fulfillrite.com. Hey, welcome back to the Crowdfunding Demystified Podcast. My name is Salvador Briggman. If you've never tuned into this show before, we bring on real-world entrepreneurs, people raising money every single day in different categories on Kickstarter and with crowdfunding on Indiegogo, nonprofit crowdfunding, real estate crowdfunding, you name it. The goal with my show is basically to document for you, if you're trying to raise money, let's just say for a new sneaker or a new handbag or a new gadget or something, maybe a board game or even an online game. How do you do that? I try to give you different examples and sort of attack this problem from many different perspectives. So on some of my episodes, you might hear a lot about Instagram marketing. We might hear about how to put together a good video or the importance of the pre-launch or how to actually conduct one of those. By listening to the show, my goal not only is that you get valuable tips and information over time, but also that you are inspired by some of these guests. And you see how someone who's just like you, they don't have a lot of money. This is probably their first company. They're really scared, they're uncertain, how they can pull together a killer campaign that raises money that can change their life, quite frankly. Today's episode, I actually brought on an entrepreneur who created an all-new, basically an all-terrain sneaker. So this is a really comfortable, versatile sneaker that he created and he launched with a crowdfunding campaign on Kickstarter. And with this campaign, this is his first project. He didn't really do any other types of companies. He was working for a 9-to-5 job. He quit that job. He tried to launch this campaign and he pulled everything together, worked really hard. He ended up attracting over 26,000 backers, 26,000 customers for his initial Kickstarter campaign for the Ultimate Travel Shoe. That raised over 2 million euros with crowdfunding. So he was basically launched this campaign, got a ton of success, and then he came back and he's launched another one. He's attracted more than 25,000 backers, more than 2 million euros also for this campaign. So he's done over $4 million with crowdfunding. He's a young guy. And the kind of goal here was that I wanted to show you how you don't necessarily have to be in the United States to do one of these campaigns. He launched this project from Spain, I believe, and the episode number 1 shows you what's possible. You don't have to be an expert. You just have to surround yourself with the right people. You just have to have the right strategy going into it, and you've got to also believe in your product, of course. But also, I wanted to share with you some of the tactics and things that he did in order to contribute to those funding amounts. His thoughts on crafting a good product. How do you decide whether or not this product has legs? How did he actually go out there and discover this problem and tap into that and attract more than 25,000 backers? You're going to learn a lot, I think, on this episode. This is my goal with the show. And also, I try to put out other educational products that can help you along the way when it comes to crowdfunding. So I also have a book out there, an Audible book, which is called The Kickstarter Launch Formula. If you have not yet, I urge you to go and grab a copy of that. It is a perfect companion to this podcast because with the podcast, you're kind of get different perspectives and hear from different people and be able to piece together a launch over time, but there's still a lot of gaps in between. The Kickstarter Launch Formula is a complete audio product. You can listen to it from A to Z and you have a complete understanding of how to launch one of these campaigns successfully. And you also hear a ton about what happens behind the scenes when it comes to estimating costs, when it comes to putting together a good project, what are the best practices, and also how do you even go a level deeper and get people interested in your project and have an explosive launch. My goal with the Kickstarter Launch Formula, and also obviously with all my work, is to codify this for you and to put this into a very easy step-by-step blueprint that you can follow. And it's also at a very ridiculously low zero cost. So this is like a no-brainer, I think. The Kickstarter launch formula, if you want to check it out on Audible, you can go to crowdcrux.com/Kickstarter audio. That is crowdcrux.com/Kickstarter audio or crowdcrux.com/Kickstarter audio. That link will take you to Audible, where if you are interested, you can also get a free 30-day trial of Audible. You can check out Audible. I love Audible. Like, you can go there, you can listen to different books. It's really easy if you live a busy life and you just want to kind of listen to a book on the way to work or in the car. You want to make sure you're always learning and always trying to up your game and level it up. I think that Audible is, quite frankly, an investment in yourself. It's an investment in your skills and leveling those up and trying to surround yourself with as many positive influences as possible to put yourself on a strong foundation for success. So the cool thing with the Audible trial is that, number one, you get a free copy of the Kickstarter launch formula. I think it comes with that. But also, when you sign up for a free trial of Audible, you can then obviously browse some other books out there. And every single month, you can check out new books. And it's a really easy way to continue to up and level up your game. So I really recommend that. Link again, crowdcrux.com/Kickstarter audio. Finally, last thing I want to mention. If you are interested in getting more access to some of the content that I got coming out there besides this podcast, like my YouTube videos, my blog posts, new announcements that I have, new bits and tidbits of things that I've learned when it comes to techniques about crowdfunding, I kind of put all that together usually in my weekly crowdfunding tips newsletter. Sometimes it's every other week, depending on if I got a lot of stuff going on. But this newsletter, my goal is to have it be value-packed, tons of content, and a lot of really actionable tips. So I use that newsletter to sort of keep my core following up to date on the things that I'm learning also about crowdfunding. So if you're interested, you can go to crowdcrux.com/subscribe, join that newsletter at crowdcrux.com/subscribe, and you can start getting some emails from me, warming you up to some new tips and new findings, new tools, the things that I'm discovering that I think are important and relevant in this industry. Without further ado, let's jump into today's podcast interview and learn how this individual entrepreneur ended up raising more than 4 million euros with crowdfunding. Hey guys, welcome back to the Crowdfunding Demystified podcast. I have here with you today a two-time successful crowdfunder, the first product for the ultimate travel shoe, Tropicfeel, which raised over 2 million euros from more than 26,000 backers. Their second campaign, their ultimate travel shoe 2.0, also raised over 2 million from just over 25,000 backers. I'll let Alberto tell you a little bit more about that. Alberto, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you so much for inviting me. My pleasure. After what you say, to Kickstarter, pretty successful. I don't know, where should I start? You tell me.
So when it comes to the actual shoe, your first project, can you walk me through, how you came up with the idea, how it is you started working on this, a little bit of your background there?
Sure. So, we're from Spain, from Barcelona. So that's maybe my English doesn't sound the best, but I think it should be enough for learning or explaining a little bit my experience. So everything started after a trip to Thailand with a few friends and our backpack. During that trip, we completely destroyed our sneakers. And when we came back with the idea of creating a shoe that can be useful for any experience we live there. A shoe that can be 4 shoes in one, so you can carry less and just focus on experiencing and enjoying your trip. Mm-hmm. And that was the origin of the idea back in 2017. Mm-hmm. And everything started with an MVP. Before launching the Kickstarter campaign, we didn't know anything about shoes when we were starting. It was just me thinking, how can I build a shoe without any kind of experience? So I decided going first to produce an MVP with a couple of features, and then after that trying to move to a Kickstarter campaign.
Now, was this your first project that you've ever done? Was this your first entrepreneurial venture, or have you done other companies in the past?
Yeah, back at that time, before I quit my job, I was at Crowdcube. Mm-hmm. Crowdcube is the crowd equity leading platform in Europe. So it wasn't my first experience on crowdfunding, but it was my first experience as an entrepreneur. I am at that time I was like 24 years old, so it was like my first job. Crowdfunding was my first job, and right now Tropicfeel is probably my second. But didn't have any experience on shoes, didn't have like a lot of experience on crowdfunding. But after analyzing and seeing how other American campaigns or projects like Big Design or Nomatic were doing on Kickstarter and were building their own brands through crowdfunding, I've been like pretty amazed, and I thought that we need to do something like that.
So you're a young guy and you launch a new company, and obviously, like you said, you don't have terribly much experience when it comes to this type of product. Were you surrounding yourself with a team? Did you do this all yourself? Can you speak a little bit to that?
Yeah, I started myself. Then one friend joined the team. One of those friends that was traveling with me, and immediately we thought, okay, what's the most important person we're gonna need to produce to make the best product? And of course, we came up with, okay, we need a designer. So we hired Marta to help us with the design and the production of our shoes. And we were three people during the whole first campaign. Well, we have like different kind of help from other people that joined the team for a few months or whatever. But back when we started during the whole campaign, we were just three people working really hard, trying to do our best. At the same time, with the production, with the product development, and the community, we didn't expect the success we had when we were starting to think, okay, we're gonna launch the campaign. It's just 15 days to launch the campaign. We're gonna start the pre-campaign. We weren't sure how well was going to go, or how many people were going to be interested on our product, and it was great, and it becomes crazy. Like on the very first day, it becomes crazy. A lot of people baking our project and asking or writing us comments saying, "Oh, guys, that product that you are designing sounds amazing or looks amazing. I really need that for traveling." So we were like full of energy, just three people, but full of energy, doing like a lot of things.
What did that feel like? Like you hit your goal pretty much in the first day with your first campaign, and it just kind of was like this pretty steady upward trajectory. What did that feel like to you? Going from having a traditional job at Crowdcube, leaving that, taking a really big risk, and having this work out. What did that feel like for you?
Well, like it's like any other trip or journey. At the end, I consider myself an adventurer and a traveler, and I think like when I'm planning, well, I don't used to plan like a lot what I am doing. On the business side, it's a little bit different. So we start planning pretty well what we can do and how well can go everything. We start doing the maths and everything. But I take that as an adventure. Hopefully, every adventure can go well or can go better or worse. But I think like everything is about learning and trying to do better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. After you got done this first project, you then kind of went back to the drawing board. It looks like you improved a lot on the shoe, and you launched the Ultimate Travel Shoe 2.0. What's different with this new shoe?
Yeah, so on the very first shoe, we tried to create that shoe as I was explaining before, for shoes in one, or what we say the most versatile travel shoe. And when we deliver the shoe, we start asking the people what. First of all, we ask them like, what is the reason you bought our shoe on the first place, and after using it, did you enjoy that, or did you find any other reasons like or any other things you can improve? So we use the leverage of the community or the questions to the community to try to improve our shoe and try to implement new technology. So I think that the most important thing on our shoe is about the technology, the materials that we're using, and the feedback that we use from the backers to improve the product. So the new shoe, the 2.0, it has probably the same features, or say it's like the same concept, same features, but it's more prepared for the mountain than for the city. So let's say Monsoon, that it's right now selling it on our website. It's a really well travel shoe, like one of the best travel shoes for going to the city, going to Europe, Mediterranean. And then Canyon, it's a most prepared shoe for the mountain, so for more adventurous people.
After you had this like first campaign, you had this first success, and you basically found out that there's a huge demand for this. Like, and you have thousands and thousands of backers with this initial campaign. 26,000 people. That's a lot. I think that's also a really big thing. What did you learn from like the whole creating the shoe, manufacturing it, shipping it out to all of these people? When it comes to your supply chain logistics, what is something you've learned about that?
Well, I think that the most, before going for the logistics or the manufacturing, I think what we learn is that the community and people is the most important. Besides that, we fundraised 2.1 million on the first campaign. What we value most is that we have after that, 26,000 people that has decided to back our project and that now trust us, or at that moment trust us, and right now they are trying to help us to grow our brand. So we think that what we learn is that we need to focus every development or everything we do based on our community based on our community opinion, and that's probably one of the biggest learnings we take. Also, manufacturing and logistics is something crazy. So when we started, we didn't expect like selling 35,000 pair of shoes in 50 days on that campaign. But yeah, I don't know. It was another challenge at that moment. A few more people joined the team to help with that. We find the right partners. I think that out there are a lot of people, a lot of companies doing like very good things on logistics. There are really nice factories working also, and we have been very lucky with the partners we took. So also another learning is like it's to choose the best partners or the partners that you trust more without caring about the price. Of course, you need to take care about the price, but it's like most important to offer a better quality and a better service than being more profitable.
Yeah, that's definitely understandable. I think that also plays a lot into just your ability to trust those people as well, that they deliver on what it is they say they're going to do. Times when you go with a cheaper provider, you might, sometimes get what you want, but a lot of times you also don't. And it also costs more money to get it revised or, go through these different things. One of the questions I had for you is, you're learning a lot of stuff at once. I know you have your experience here with the other company, but you're kind of learning manufacturing, you're learning marketing, you're learning team building. There's a lot of different things you're having to figure out at the same time. And when it comes to that element of team building, like I think that's plays a massive component in a successful project, is basically trying to get everyone on the same page. Did you have anything that you learned on like the topic of leadership or on the topic of trying to get people excited about the project and having everyone work in tandem in that way?
Yeah, probably one of the most difficult things for any entrepreneur, it's start living like the daily job and start focusing myself, for example, like, or my time, start focusing my time or giving my time to the team. So we passed from a 3 people team to right now 11 people team. And that means that there is people coming in, people coming out, and you need to stay, to give them time. I think it's really important to always try to bring new methodologies that help them to be more to increase their productivity, or also new meetings or team meetings that help them understand why we are doing this. After all, we have started like a shoe company, but we are trying to do something else. So our aim is to become the world's most loved travel gear brand. And for doing that, everyone in the team needs to know really, really clear why we are doing this and what's the main difference from our company and the other companies.
Totally.
So for me, one of the hardest things is it has to leave the daily job or stop thinking on traveling to see the manufacturing partner, the factories, or stop thinking on what picture we should post on Instagram or the information of the update, and start focusing on making sure that everyone is aligned with the mission and the vision of the company.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Well said. I had to interrupt this podcast episode because I want to introduce you to my friends at The Gadget Flow. Their product discovery platform reaches 22 million people per month. They've helped more than 5,000 crowdfunding campaigns thus far, and they have a social media following of more than 700,000 followers. If you want to gain access to their marketplace and list your own product, you can go to thegadgetflow.com/submit and list your project today. One of the other things I noticed on your project here was you guys working with a marketing company, Tros. Can you talk a little bit to that?
Yeah, I think when I was starting analyzing like the campaigns that other like huge players did as Big Design or Nomadic, we realized that every campaign, every successful campaign was working with a different marketing agency. Besides probably that they have a lot of experience with digital marketing or Facebook ads, it was a common denominator, so everyone was working with that. So I started analyzing like all the different marketing agencies that were focused or has like experience on crowdfunding, and then we found Tros. For us, Tros has been like really, really helpful. We saw on Tros a partner, not just a service provider or a digital marketing service provider. And I think that we made the right choice working with them. And we have worked with them on the very first campaign, and we worked with them on the second one. And it has been really helpful for doing the advertising.
Awesome. I think it's easy to get like caught up in numbers and all these people that are discovering you and the success that you're having. For you personally, what have you enjoyed most about this journey as you describe it, this adventure that you're on now? What's been like the most rewarding part to you, and what you've enjoyed most?
I think it's delivering. For me, like when I feel like more proud, it's when I go like back to the product page of our website and I saw that our monsoon product has 1,600 positive reviews with more than 4 stars. And you start reading those comments, and of course there are comments that that shoe makes some pain or it's small, but then you see other people saying that it is the shoe that they were looking for. That they have traveled to Asia, America, like a lot of countries. Like in just a few months, they have to do that shoe to at least 5 or 6 countries, and it says that it's like, okay, we have found the right product, and we are communicating or we are delivering that product to the right people because they are proud of that product or they are happy with the product. So I think that one of the biggest things or biggest learnings for me is like doing great products that people can love. It's really amazing.
It's so interesting too, like that your product can become a part of someone's life. And when they're going on that trip to Thailand or they're going on the trip to Bali, they're wearing your shoes. It really becomes a part of their lifestyle and their entire experience. And like, these are just little things we don't even think about, you don't think necessarily about like the level of detail and hard work and engineering that went into the shoes that you wear that allow you to go on a trip and feel really peaceful or have your feet not hurt, So it's kind of cool. You're sort of impacting people's lives in that way, and almost like in a subconscious way, which is kind of neat.
Yeah, I think like the Tropicfeel success came from the community and the support of the community. So every single comment or every single review that we received, or even if it's positive or negative, like we read that comment, we try to improve, because at the end, as you were saying, like making a shoe, it's a process that took around 90 days. And after that, it's okay, we deliver to you, and then, okay, just go travel with that, enjoy it. And it's another shoe. So it's like a commodity you have in your food and you need for your daily life. And there is people out there that is seeing that they are seeing after our job, like much more than that, much more than a shoe.
When it comes to someone out there in the audience right now that's thinking about launching a campaign, they look at your huge success here and they're like, this is incredible, but there's no way that I could do anything like that, or there's no way that I could pull off any kind of success near that. Do you have any advice for them on launching a campaign that gets a lot of, attention, or that taps into something larger that they can actually, build a business out of? Do you have any thoughts about that?
Sure. That I was thinking the same. So when I was deciding to quit my job or not, and I was seeing Peak Design or Nomatic doing great, I thought that, hopefully one day I could do something like that. And at the end, everything is about believing. And if you believe that you have the right product and you believe that you can communicate the features or the benefits of that product to the right people, I would say that everything is possible. So it's like, don't lose energy, or don't, when you make mistakes, don't lose your energy. It's about learning from that mistake, not stopping, just keep learning, and make sure that you have like a positive mind, and I think you will succeed.
Mm-hmm. I think it's also important that you create something that people want to have, because there's a lot to be said, obviously, for like the functionality and putting a lot of hard work in, but if no one wants this thing to exist in the world, it's going to be hard to sell it.
Yeah, of course. That's why we decided to do. So when we started the company, we had really, really clear we were going to launch a Kickstarter campaign, but we weren't sure when. So we decided, okay, we need to do first an MVP. We need to test the shoe. We need to test if people likes the idea, and we need to ask people if they understand how we are communicating the shoe. Mm-hmm. So when we started, or when we launched our MVP, we were communicating that shoe as the world's first water-friendly sneaker. So we thought, okay, we took a sneaker, we make it water-friendly, and that's making the shoe the most versatile and the perfect shoe for traveling. And we're going to say that this is the world's first water-friendly sneaker. And after selling 1,000 pair of shoes on the streets, like on markets here in Spain, in Barcelona, and talking to the people, we understand that what we were doing is much more than a water-friendly sneaker. We were delivering a shoe that they can be worn like all day and all night, and that is taking all the best functionalities from different shoes and put it in just one. So we think like, okay, you're telling us how to communicate or how we're solving your needs. Besides, like, we have really clear on our mind what we were solving. Sometimes it's really difficult to communicate it well. So if you find the way of understanding what people needs and why people can buy your shoes before launching any campaign, I think that could be really useful.
Yeah, I think so too. A lot of these, people that I've interviewed, when it comes to their crowdfunding success, a lot of people have this belief that being not in the United States or not speaking proper English is actually kind of a hindrance to you, because you can't communicate as well, with like English speaking buyers. Was that something that you found to be the case, or, maybe not being a native English speaker, it actually gave you a different perspective, like on the market? Was something that, not being a native English speaker, did that kind of hold you back at all? Or do you think that it didn't really matter?
I would say it doesn't matter. At the end, a campaign needs to be as visual as possible. So if you go like to our campaigns, you will see like We are just saying a couple of words, and images are talking for the product and are explaining much better the functionalities of the shoe than the text or the language.
Yeah, so it doesn't even play any kind of role. And that's kind of been my experience as well. I think actually being outside the United States, it gives you a really different view as well on the marketplace and a different perspective on it. And I think as long as you create something that people are interested in, you really understand your customer, who they are. That's kind of the more important aspect, is understanding people rather than necessarily the language that you're using.
Mm-hmm. I think, most of the people are looking. Well, there are a lot of people out there looking for the same things without. I don't know. We also try to bring like some kind of strategy to deliver like the best experience, or to be able to sell in the States. For example, on the first campaign, we decided that we were going to do free shipping only to the States, not for the rest of the world. It helps us it helps us a lot. And this second campaign, we decided like, okay, we cannot do that. We cannot ask for the United States. So we cannot make a difference from the States or the rest of the people, because Europe can be angry. So what to do? We ask to the United States people to pay for shipping, or we offer free shipping, and we decided like to offer him free shipping worldwide. And right now we have sold shoes to more than 170 countries.
That's awesome, dude. You're knocking it out of the park here. That's great.
Crazy.
Where can people go to learn? I know your project concluded. Where can people go to find out more about Tropicfeel and some of the product you got out there?
Sure. Right now we are on our website is live at tropicfeel.com. We used to promote our products and the lifestyle of our brand on our Instagram. And we have also created a Facebook group, a secret Facebook group, where we are talking with our most loyal customers and backers, and where we offer special rewards or special offers in terms of products, but also where we talk with the community to try to think or try to ask for help to design the best thing, the next big thing.
Awesome. One of my final questions for you here is, you guys are doing a lot. Like, you have your Facebook Messenger strategy where it looks like people can ask questions. You have a really good Instagram, some killer photos there. You have your Facebook page. I'm sure you built up an email list of people. What's been like the biggest ROI for you in terms of these channels for getting the word out there and, getting people interested in the project?
The most important for us when we started was Instagram. So we focused a lot on creating a huge community on Instagram, because it was like the mainstream or the main social network at that time, with stories and everything. But in terms of sales, Facebook and Instagram, it's one of the tools that we use more to make well known our brand among the whole world.
And when it comes to Instagram, is there anything you think that has contributed more? Like, have you been doing any IGTV or any video story updates, anything like that that's been a bigger contributor?
Stories, but we didn't do any Instagram TV or live. I think that we are still looking for the right content to deliver through Instagram TV or Instagram Live. We are content lovers, so all the content that you can see on our Instagram or on our campaigns is did by us, from people from the inside of the team, and it's almost or everything completely authentic. So it's us with friends or friends and friends of friends traveling the world with a camera and with our products. So that I think that's probably one of the biggest challenge or the biggest difference from us with the rest of the.
I love that. Yeah, I love that. You guys are having a baller time. Like, it's so much more interesting than my Instagram, dude. Like, you guys are doing fun stuff. You're traveling. It looks like you have like your personality kind of as part of of your product and of your brand, and also the personality of your team, of course. So I think it's really neat, and that's awesome. So for those that are listening, if you want to go and check it out, it's tropicfeel.com, tropicfeel.com. They're also on Indiegogo in demand, where you can pre-order their product. But thank you so much for coming on the podcast, Alberto. It's been awesome. I appreciate all of the advice and tips that you shared here today.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Let me tell you about our latest sponsor, SendPro Online by Pitney Bowes. Shipping can be complex. Things can get really confusing really fast. With SendPro Online, it's easy to save time and money no matter what you send, from letters and packages to overnights and flats. You can easily compare USPS, UPS, and FedEx in an all-in-one online tool. You can print shipping labels and stamps directly from your printer. You can even track all of your shipments and get email notifications when they've arrived. SendPro Online is only $14.99 a month, and listeners can get a free 30-day trial when you visit pb.com/crowdcrux. That's pb.com/crowdcrux. Experience the convenience of SendPro Online for yourself when you sign up for a free 30-day trial. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Crowdfunding Demystified podcast. If you did enjoy today's episode, please take a second to rate and review it on iTunes as well. I hope that you were inspired. I hope it inspired the hell out of you, dude, because let's be honest, this entrepreneur not only was able to have such a successful, wildly incredible campaign, but they also did it, I think, at a really young age and from not the United States. And in addition, they did this as their first company. That's just incredible to me. And I'm continuing to try and learn and be inspired by these different people that I speak to throughout life. I obviously do not have all of the answers. I'm always trying to improve my skills and my techniques when it comes to leadership, when it comes to public speaking, when it comes to the things that I'm trying to get better at. I have definitely figured out a lot of things when it comes to crowdfunding. I've been in this industry since 2012, so it's been a while since I've been working in this industry, and I've tried to codify all of my findings for you in the Kickstarter launch formula. This is the number one thing that you should be doing before you go live on Kickstarter. It's virtually guaranteed to improve your chances of success. Just by listening to this and starting to tune into some of the stuff that you might not know about, that's happening behind the scenes, you're going to discover about so many new strategies and techniques and tactics, learning about also estimating the costs that go into a campaign. There's so much stuff that I think as an entrepreneur, you kind of have to be aware of, and you just can't, because, obviously this is maybe your first or your second project. You don't know everything when it comes to crowdfunding. So this is a way you can take advantage of my knowledge and my learnings, and you can literally just download this thing. You can listen to it on the way to work. You can listen to it while you're doing dishes, or you're cleaning your room, or, whatever it is you're doing, you're cleaning the house. This is a great way to level up your crowdfunding game. And if you're interested, you can go and check it out at crowdcrux.com/Kickstarter audio. That is crowdcrux.com/Kickstarter audio. And finally, if you want to book a one-on-one coaching call with me and go super in-depth into your project, you want me to give you advice and feedback and look at your campaign video maybe, or look at your page, or outline a strategy to get into the nitty-gritty of how you're going to improve your launch, the resources and tools you should be aware of, you can also go to crowdcrux.com/coaching, and that link will take you to a coaching form where you can learn more about some of my coaching services. You give me more information on your campaign, and from that form, you can schedule a call with me today. Hope you enjoyed today's podcast episode. My name is Sal, and I will see you next time.